I'd like to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Mar.
Cowboy Nation and listeners, Cowboy Nation and football fans. Well, really, we Cowboy Nation and football fans. We here live, man, live with a watch party of the um, San Francisco and the Chicago Bears um, playoff contention game for seeding. Both of these teams are in the playoffs. Um, Wanted to do a watch party with us. We will be doing some watch parties with these playoffs coming up because we're gonna talk about stuff that's going to be leading in for the Cowboys as well as we're gonna be talking about stuff that's going to be very important for us as an organization, for us as organizations as Cowboys to get better. And we're gonna watch how teams play this playoff playing this playing type playoff fight football. Hopefully, the game today is tonight is just as good as some of these games that's been played. Um, Want to lead off by saying apologies to the Chicago Bear fans. I got a first cousin of mine is a very big Chicago fan, Chicago Bear fan, and he reminds me that when we lost to the Chicago Bears, I went on a rant about how the Chicago Bears were probably going to win 7 games this year, and look at what Chicago is. I mean, they playing for a number one seed in the playoffs, trying to play for a number one seed in the NFC. And so they've had an outstanding season under Ben Johnson, their head coach. They have formulated an offense and got confidence in the offense with their quarterback. They have tightened up on defense. They have gotten some people. They went and got a safety that came out of Chicago. I forgot his name. And he's gonna be playing tonight. But they got Nashawn Wright over there. They picked up our former defensive back coach Al Harris. They have been playing very tough and consistent football, and and that just tells you sometimes that you can't underestimate teams and talk about teams that are not going to be very good based off what their past is. They're changing the culture of they're doing it with their good sound defense and being physical. So I give apologies to saying that they were not a bad team and they were going to win 7 games. There's possibility they could be in the Super Bowl, and they've had a great year. So kudos to them, and we're going to see some of the things why they stay consistent. Um, Before the game come on, we had some very good games that happened today in the NFL. The it's showing you fans that we could talk about defense. You could talk about offense and talk about flash and dash, but being a physical football team, being able to take adversity, maybe not move the ball, but play very sound defense. You may have some teams to score, but it does not. Your defense does make some plays, and being a very sound and fast and attacking defense, and not attacking in a way where I'm talking about rushing the pass. And I'm watching a lot of teams not, on plays not getting no pressure on the quarterback, but the back end playing. And it's not about playing man to man. It's about if they're, I watched a team like in Seattle and in Philadelphia that play predominantly zone. But their zone it makes it look like a man because they so aggressive and they're so football savvy with their zone. And they both of these teams have speed. And if you got speed on defense and you're football savvy and you're playing as a unit, with not a lot of you don't see a lot of confusion with these teams, and they're playing with unit. They're playing very fast, and it makes you look like that they're playing. You know, sometimes people say, "Well, they playing man to man," and we talk about soft man, and I understand sometimes we talk about soft man, but it, it, you can play zone and make it look like it's man to man, and it can be very hard if you play it the right way with speed and guys with instincts. You could turn people over because you have people can't find the spots because really playing it really tough. Um, I watched we talk about teams that may be talking about throwing the towel in division games. I'm kudos to the Cleveland Browns. As people know that I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm not I never root for two teams. I don't never root for at all. I really never root for nobody in our division. I never root for nobody in our division. I never root for the San Francisco 49ers. And I never root for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not trying to be funny, but I never root for those teams. But the kudos to the Cleveland Browns and coming out and playing at this a solid game with nothing on the line. And I think sometimes when we have our fans, we talking about, well, coach, we shouldn't play. There's nothing on the line. We shouldn't give up and all that stuff. I think that's really bad, man, because the competitive nature of the football players on the Cleveland team they showed today, and some of us made that comments at the end of the game like, hey man, we won the game, and that's a real good thing of their competitive nature of how they played. And that's gonna pay dividends. I don't know if it'll pay dividends with them going forward, but you like to be a fan of players that have competitive nature if you're a real football fan. While you on a team, you thinking about the draft picks, and you gonna sacrifice losing to somebody, getting yourself beat down. uh, If you're a competitor, you don't want that because why would you care about who somebody else drafting? You need to get good. Um, Seattle looked real good today with how they play. Defense is swarming. Defense is all over the place, and that guy named Demarcus Lawrence, the ball finds him every game. He's got a fumble recovery. He calls in the fumble. I talked about DeMarcus Lawrence all last year, 2 years ago, about how good he was, and then we had some people, we had some of our people that they're talking about he don't get no sacks and all. DeMarcus Lawrence make plays, and I think sometimes we get so caught up in the flash that we forget about. And I think I say this: if DeMarcus Lawrence wasn't hurt last year, I don't think our run defense would be as bad last year that it was, or our defense was been as bad. I think DeMarcus Lawrence was just as important to our defense um as uh as Micah. Micah would might have been more flash, but Marcus gave you pressures, run defense, and he was the guy that made plays. And if you go back and look, yeah, he made plays. I mean, if it wasn't something on fourth down stop, he made plays. But I think both of them together, even though they might have had disagreements, I think both of them together were could work. And then sometimes you don't have to agree with the guy that you work real well with. Um, Case in point, Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones working together, they may had ego problems, but together they formed a good combination of that had no doubt won. And it's not just all one. The combination of those were two because separate they never won anything in the NFL lately, but together they built dynasty. So and sometimes you have to realize that. So um DeMarcus Lawrence, the Seattle defense, man, how fast and physical they look. Um on the other side, looking at the games on yesterday, the Texans, you know, offense sputtered. The defense just kept it's just tenacious. Not just their pass rush when they don't get there. Their back end is it. Do y'all if y'all watching and coach and I've been saying all along about how soft our back end was. when we watch this game today, the people that's tuning in that's going to watch the game with us, I want you to look at certain things that I've been talking about with our team. And if we fix those things, I think we could be. I think we don't have to change. You don't have to go get a Max Crosby and all this talent because other teams are not doing that. But the mentality has to change. And I know y'all get tired of coach saying about the mentality. It is because you're gonna watch the day when you watch these other teams of how their defense attacks the football. When it you see hitting out there. You don't see guys running and getting tackled and dragging out guys or people waiting or people running in space and there's nobody around them. I went back today and I watched the game that we played Washington. And it was three instances in that game that that when we watched the game today, I want y'all to see if y'all see this same type of stuff. And it was three plays in the game, if y'all can remember the game. One, when Malik Hooker, the guy, ran up the middle down the goal line, and Malik Hooker had a shot at him, and he tried to jump on it, try to side tackle him up high, and the guy just pushed right on through and went on for a touchdown. Didn't attack the ball. The guy came to him. He did not attack the football. The other play was the play when they ran the long touchdown run when we had our corner out there, just standing flat footed. And when the play came out there, just a half a second of not attacking the football. And by the time he decided to attack upfield, the guy was gone by him. And then the other play was when the quarterback ran up the middle, when their quarterback scrambled up the middle, how he ran about 10 to 15 yards. And even though we was in man to coverage, there was nobody conversion on the guy, coming around the guy. And I just say we're not rallying. And I keep saying that. And then the last play is when Debo Samuels caught the ball on the outside and he ran down the field and he ran and knocked uh, uh, Wilson's helmet off. Did y'all understand? Did y'all see Wilson did come and attack him? Wilson was back there waiting for the guy to run. And Debo's not going to try to juke you. And if you don't come meet force with force, he could have met force right through Debo's thighs. But he let Debo run all the way up on him and run into him. And he was back there. That is what I'm talking about, rallying and attacking the football. And when you start allowing teams bring the force to you, it goes downhill, man. And what we may watch today, we're going to watch two good physical defensive teams. And I want y'all to watch how they attack the football. They're going to attack the football. Now, we're going to watch some stuff on offense. And another thing I want you to make sure you watch on first downs. The team that does best on first down today is going to be the team that's going to dominate this football game. So it's two things I have talked about in my shorts. I got a couple of shorts talking about the first downs, about the offense and being active on first downs. And then, we had some people comment talking about defenses. I know defense. It's no fixing our defense. But we can watch what we need to fix our defense. We can watch other good defenses and say, something, it ain't about players. It's about how we playing it. And it's not about scheme because everybody's playing the same type of scheme we playing. The scheme is not all that different. But when you watch other teams, I want you to be honest and think about your team. Because that's what I'm doing. Because I'm really want to say what we can do to get better. And the best way to get better is watch other people who are playing better, that's having success. And what are they doing? How are they playing? And we can learn that. Then we can get out of a lot of this crazy talk that we be doing all over the board, thinking that we need first round. I think Boss said something the other day in which it was so true. He said, "Man, we're not gonna have first round draft picks in every." Boss Cowboy said, "We're not gonna have first round draft picks in every position, but we're gonna have to learn how to get stuff out of players." And I want to say this right quick before the game starts. There's a movement against Will McClay. Man, go back and look at your undrafted free agents that made teams. That's that's important. And Dallas leads the league in undrafted free agents being very good players for the organization. And that's totally scouting. And then I want you to ask yourself this. When you see some of the players that was at Cowboys that left, if they left the Cowboys and we cut them, or they didn't pan out for us, and they went on to be very productive role players and good players for other teams, that's not a bust on the draft pick, on the draft staff. That's a bust on the coaching staff in developing. Nashawn Wright is showing that he was not a bust. It's that the people when we was in our organization didn't do the things to get the talent out of Nashawn Wright or put him in the situation for and give him the opportunity to have that. And we could have gave Nashawn Wright the opportunity. But our own fans kept talking about, no, go get a corner, go get this guy, and wouldn't allow the guy to play through it. And some of these guys need to play through their stuff to get better. Because I tell you this, only thing with a name is what makes the name is opportunity. And opportunity doesn't go nowhere. Opportunity never disappears. It just goes to the next person. So if you get an opportunity, you don't do it, right? It goes to the next person, and that person takes their opportunity. And then you got to have people that's invested in you, that's going to give you a chance to be able to fight through what you need to get better. And that's what these players, this organization needs to look at. And it's crazy. I get try to do a live stream of another game, and right off the bat, yeah, that's true. Um, Duncan, yeah, that's true. We listen. I've been saying this, and I don't know if people been listening to me. I've been saying this for many a weeks, and I keep saying it. I just said with we were talking about scheme and playing man to man and all that stuff. I just said what I saw, what the coaches I saw in me. Now John Gruden talked about it too on his little show. He talked about how soft the defense was. I said, uh, just get a little bit more physical, and then let's see how that goes. And yes, I think maybe Matt Eaglefoot is a finesse type of guy. Um, I because let me tell you something. I think Matt Eaglefoot made some mistakes on two things, and I might get some pushback from a lot of people. One, I think we ran with when we went on in our secondary. The leader of our secondary is Hooker, and I think we went too far along with Hooker. Hooker's not physical enough. He's not fast. He may be adequate, but and then for the confusion that we have in the back end for a veteran safety like that, that's unacceptable. I think we went too long with Hooker. I think we went too long with Elam, and Elam spoiled a whole bunch. I think people like Elijah Clark and the other young guy the other young drafted free agent we had. I think not only Eberflus, I think whoever was the secondary coach um, wasn't good enough to say, hey man, let me get these guys up and running. These guys are young and they got talent. Let me get them to speed. I watched that all over the league. I'm watching secondaries just saying, hey, we not care about that and we getting them rolling. I watched a Philadelphia team that got rid of all they cleaned their whole house of their secondary in 2 years and went with guys that was not top draft picks. And they went with guys and they let them play through it and they got a little bit more physical. They got physical and fast on the back end, and they not no household names. And these guys are playing ball. So I'm watching the team in the 49ers. If you want to talk about it, the 49ers got rid of in the last 2 years, got rid of their whole secondary. Guys that went on to play and get some big money. They're with a bunch of rookies out there now, and look how they're playing. So it can be done, but it's a philosophy that has to be done first. And regardless, they are being coached hard. They are being asked to do certain things, and their coaches are not uh, giving up on them or throwing them out in the throwing them away when they get plays made on them, because they understand in football there's gonna be plays, but they got a right type of mentality and they're going to make plays. And that's what you have to do, and that's the mental toughness that you have to be on as a football player. Even when you look at the kickoff teams with these teams, everything looks like it's a whole lot faster and a more like the teams putting pass on players on a consistent basis. And we didn't this ain't look that way. And I ask you, as we watch good teams do this playoffs, I want you to go back to the film if you have a chance, or just call in your memory bank and think about how we look in these same situations. The Bears run a 4-3 defense. Mm, right off the bat, touchdown Bears. Right off the bat. What I said about that, see, listen. See, I told a friend of mine, think about and think about this, and I know everybody's gonna laugh when I tell them this because they're gonna say, Coach, you ain't really say this, right? But let me tell you what I said. I told a friend that just the other day when he was talking about Brock Purdy threw for 5 touchdowns. I said, you better hope that they don't get so enamored in Brock Purdy throwing the ball that they forget about setting the table for Brock Purdy to throw, or they start just throwing the ball just to be throwing the ball because they think Brock Purdy is this big time Dan Marino type passer. And this is what I meant. Start the game off McCaffrey, get him going, and then make it easier for Block to throw the passes. But don't put the game in Brock Purdy's hand and then come back to McCaffrey. And I'm not saying that, that, but he's not a guy that's going to just go out there week in and week out, just dominate passes. Because in Kyle Shanahan thing, you got to understand what Kyle Shanahan offense. He don't his quarterbacks don't do a lot of reading. Kyle Shanahan calls plays and he almost tells the player where the ball is going supposed to be at. So it's not hard to deal with him, because if you read the same thing that he reads, and because Brock is going to throw the ball where Kyle Shanahan tells him to throw the football. It ain't all this where he doing one read, two read. If Kyle Shanahan say throw that slant or throw that in cut, that's where the ball, because he think that's where it's supposed to be open. If you make Brock Purdy go to his second read or hesitate to throw the ball because you read the same thing that he reads and you take that away, you got a chance to really give him a lot of problems. And I'm not saying he's not a good guy. I'm not saying that, but everybody has their certain quirks. And make Brock Purdy go to his second read. Make him be a read quarterback, not just a reactionary quarterback. And what I mean by reactionary quarterback, people, is he know where the ball gonna go. If it's an in cut, Shanahan say we run this play, that in cut should be wide open. That's why I want you to throw the ball. If you read the same thing he's reading and you shut that play off, then he has to go to another play, then you may have a chance to give him problems. Man, I don't know what's going on. I need to get another NBC. NBC channel, man, because this is not working. This is not. It's getting me. It's getting me crazy. Now, what did I say, man? First, third. Let's see. What how that works. First down, they don't get nothing on first down. If he throw the ball on first down, they get incompletions on first down. If you stop San Francisco on first down, now you're gonna start making Brock Purdy make passes. What 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. If you can get him at 3rd and 7, 3rd and long, most times over, you're gonna be able to be predict. You can be able to do something with him. One thing about San Francisco, man, San Francisco is gonna they're gonna attack your off tackle. And if you're not ready for your safeties and your cornerbacks to defeat their wide receiver blocking, their wide receivers and their tight ends really get after people. And if you're not strong enough to defeat those blocks and get up, and your defensive ends can never be blocked by a tight end. They're gonna try your defensive ends to see if they can block them with tight ends, and you got to punish those tight ends. Um, we had a player that San Francisco really gave a lot of respect to, and I'm gonna make a lot of people mad. And this wasn't Michael Parsons; it was Demarcus Lawrence. They didn't run nothing at Demarcus Lawrence because they couldn't block him with tight ends. He did dominated the tight ends, and when they try to run that cutback, they had to dedicate a guy to come backside to block Marcus Lawrence because he was going to travel down the line of scrimmage wide open because he was going to chase everything down. Um, now? Here we go. Here we go. The second down, first down. They try to run a pass. As I was saying all the time, when you run a pass on first down, you got to complete 85% of that. When you don't complete a pass on first down, what that does. And that was a safe pass. They wasn't like they were trying to do something that was crazy. They try to run a safe pass on first down, and we came up. Chicago came up with a big play by just knocking the ball down. So when you knock the ball down, I don't know what's going on my NBC channel. It is not working well. I'm sorry, y'all, people. Um, but this is crazy. I'm glad we weren't doing a live stream today because we were doing a live stream. If this was our game, it would be even worse for me to try to get the game. Because how can I do a live stream if I can't see the game? It's crazy. Let me see what this play was. I missed the play the first time. Yep. Great drive. Great answer to turn the ball over. Turn the ball over 7. That's a great answer to try to get now. If this game is close, that's 7 points they gave up on the on the pick six. It's still going. It still have to get over that. This is just because they drove down and scored on here. That doesn't get over that big mistake because in close games, let's say if Chicago offense sputters and don't is not just going crazy, you already gave them 7 points without the offense on the field. So what that is, San Francisco can't get too hyped because only thing they did is pull the game closer because the offense is just breaking even right now. They gave up 7 by giving up a pick six, and now they got the 7 back. But that don't mean that they're ahead. And what a coach starts thinking about, we still thinking that okay, we had to work hard, do a 6 play drive, 65 yards just to get back even. So we did put our step. We still behind the 8 ball a little bit, but it's a great drive. Going back to what they were doing, calming things down, running McCaffrey makes no difference. He getting a whole lot of yards, but what they do, everything that they do is mostly out of play action. San Francisco runs very few plays. Watch it. There's very few plays that does not look like play action. They are a play action team. When you get them into a drop back game because you get them behind, then they're not as good as they doing play action. Everything is rolled out of play action because you can't give their receivers a lot of space. And let me explain that. They block so well at the receiver position, right? If you give them too much cushion, they're gonna run up on you, and McCaffrey gets in the secondary, he gone. Because when they run up on you to stop block you, you're not gonna run through them. So what you have to do is you have to close the cushion on them. You have to run zones, but you still have to close the cushion so you can attack them in the run game. They're wideouts. Also, you got to play a lot of zone. It's good to play zone against the San Francisco because they run a lot of crossing routes, and they're gonna rub you off. And back in the day when they catch the ball going across the field, if you're not a fast team, they're gonna be running forever. So what you want to do is have them run into other people. So, um, but they're very disciplined in what they do. Um, Now I don't know how good Chicago's defense is this year. I have watched them a couple times, but just this first series, if I'm Chicago's defensive coordinator, I'm not getting too upset because it's a long game, and we have to work into what we did. There are certain things we made a mistake on. I'm not panicking at all. It just got back to 7 points that we got from them. I'm not panicking about Chicago. We on the sideline doing a couple of adjustments, certain things the players doing, and we're just gonna keep working at it. No, 7-7. Big game like this, field position means everything. So, who controls the better field position? Even with so it's very important on these drives that you when you have these drives not to go 3 and out. If you can get one or two first downs, you can change the field position. Now they're going into third down. Got a knockdown pass play. But listen, by getting that 7 yards on first down, even though you're going in the third down, you still in control because it's third and short. So if you can get like 6 or 7 yards on first down, if you throw an incomplete pass, you still got a good down to come back and get the 3 yards. So they're still in a condition where they can run the ball or pass the ball to get 3 yards. And there was a man downfield. Did he catch the ball? Did they rule if they rule the catch? If they didn't rule the catches, they're gonna decline the penalty. If it's a catch, they're gonna take the penalty. If it's incomplete, they're gonna decline and go ahead and make them punt. Great defensive play by San Francisco. Fourth down. That's right. Incomplete pass. Um, Very good defense, and they probably gonna show this again with their defense of that. They took that simple play pass, and what they did was they said, okay, we're gonna make you throw the ball down the field. So what we did is what they if you probably watch them on their back end, didn't see it yet, but they probably is how you play that is to say, okay, we're gonna take the short routes from you. We understand that you're just trying to get 3 yards. We don't think you're gonna be aggressive enough to say we're gonna try to run a deep pattern on here, and that's not your first read. So we're gonna squeeze the short pattern and make you work. And if we can guess right and stop that first read and make you hold the ball, if we're playing zone, then everybody's gonna plaster against the guy, and then we're gonna play the scramble drill with you, the defensive scramble drill. Plaster to a guy and not and make you and chase the quarterback. So, but you can't. It wasn't about pass rush. Now everybody be talking about how great your pass rush. Pass rush didn't get to Caleb Williams till after he had the ball 4 or 5 seconds when he scrambled out of the pocket. That's when the pass rush got to him. But the pass wasn't there early. They played good defense on the back end. So it always ain't got to be pass rush. You're not always gonna get to the quarterback. But just since you don't get to the quarterback, that don't mean you can't stop a pass. That means the guys on the back end got to do their job. And they did their job. Well, I don't know. I don't know one. I don't know, Dunk. I don't know if that's the case or not. Because they only had the ball. They only had the ball 3 plays. Their offense, they had the ball with 3 plays. Think about it, Doug. They only had 3 plays. This is the first time they had the ball. They got 49ers had the ball pick six. Then the 49ers got the ball again. So this is their first time they ran the ball. Well, they got 7 yards on the first play. That then they tried to pass on second down, and then they didn't run on third down. So they only had the ball 3 times. So I don't know if they're gonna try to get their run game in. One thing I one thing I do know this. A lot of sometimes these people when we start talking about how good the quarterback is and how up and coming the quarterback is coming on, sometimes the media hype gets in these coaches' head and they be like, man, well, we got to show it, we lean on our quarterback. Listen, you don't have to put all the pressure on big games on quarterback. Let him make plays, but not be the plays. No, yes, get a physical dominance against San Francisco. I always say this about San Francisco, and I mean this about San Francisco. You got to run the ball against San Francisco. You run the ball against San Francisco. You have dog Trent Big Williams ain't in the game. They tackle ain't in the game. What's going on with him? These some really tight window throws. And see, these throws that Purdy's making, They're not reads, and so we're gonna get on my case about that. They're not reads. They're throws that he gonna throw the ball to that place. That's gonna start with. That's where he gonna throw the ball. Yeah, I think he done for the day. Great play by a linebacker. But listen, look at that great play by a linebacker. But know what helped the linebacker make that play? Everybody holding their ground and coming towards the line of scrimmage. You give your linebacker a chance to play if you close his gap and make his area, even though he ran that far, but you just can't allow the side over there to be like he just turn the corner and the tackle getting up the field. It's all in unison. That's why I say defense is a you got to play it together. Made him go off his first read. If you make him go off his first read, you got him. If you make him pull that ball down to go off his first read, you can stop Purdy. If he go through his, if he goes back and puts his foot in the ground and throw the ball exactly what Shanahan told him to throw the ball, or he gonna be hard to beat all night. But if you can make him get off that first where he say that first play that he supposed to throw the ball and get his eyes to drop, then you got him. Good defensive stand by Chicago. I'm gonna say something else, man. As I've been watching the games today, every team, all these teams got this. They got that safety guy. Think about man, go man. They got some back end guys that's been all over the field. The Eagles guy, man, that slot corner they have and that safety that they got, man, they gave Buffalo. Those two guys gave Buffalo hell today. And they listen, nothing all that flash, but they always around the ball. They always making a tackle. They don't miss too many tackles. They always they are, it is it's a pleasure to watch how they attack the football and not sitting back and waiting for people to run over them. And when I watch film on our team, I just see guys sitting back waiting, 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 waiting. What's going on, Hamden? Yeah, man. G Hamden. Hey, we gonna do some. I'm gonna get with you, man. Hopefully, we can get together this week and do something this week, man. I'm just doing the holidays, and yes, it is a football cowboy talk tonight. What we're doing is we're watching other games. We're watching playoff teams, and I'm not, I ain't. I'm a cowboy fan, but I'm a football person. We're watching playoff teams, and we're watching and comparing how they play to how we play. And maybe we can learn some things about certain mentalities or certain ways that we can fix our teams, or then we can maybe see some things when we watch our film. We say, "No, we just don't look like that. Why we don't look that aggressive? Why do we don't hit that way? Why they playing with a guy that's a undrafted free agent and he's doing well? Why they don't have all stars on their team? Who knows about that guy? Why they playing like this? Because we see that always in the NFL, and maybe we can get out of all this fantasy talk about we need this guy, we need that guy type of stuff, and realize, as I've been saying for the last 3, 4, 5 years, you don't have as many Pro Bowlers and All Pros that we have, and say, oh, we need more. It's about being unit, having a team aspect, and it's a mentality of how you play and your mental toughness. And those two things we have been lacking. I hope we have some mental toughness come up this coming week because hey, we got to build upon something. But enough about we're going to talk about what we're seeing in this game. Now, what we are seeing in this game, uh, so G have let me say, G have said something, and we watching this game, but I want to put something up there. Oh, I ain't got enough. I ain't gave you enough time on that. G, let me give you your statement here. Enough time on it, like it's supposed to. All right, and I know some other people say, well, why you putting this thing up there? Because it's crazy. I was just talking about this today with somebody. How about keeping the owners out the coaches' meetings? You know what pisses me off by the Cowboys, and this is one of the biggest major things, is every time they have an interview, we're asking Jerry about players and why they didn't play, about scheme, about playing man to man, or why this guy didn't play. What could this play? We asking him football questions. We asking him questions about scheme, about playing people. Tell me when the hell do a GM in any other team answer? Only thing they need to answer questions about is contracts. Other than football questions about who playing and why they playing and how much time they getting, because they don't know. They just tell you what they see in the meetings, but they make it look like Steven and Jerry are football guys. And when they call him coach, he loved that. Coach Jones. Oh, he loved that. He goes crazy about that. Let the coaches coach, the administrator, the owners own, and the GM. That's it. And I said this before, and I don't know if a lot of y'all can pick up on this. And I'm about to get that, Snell, I'm about to get to your question too. I said this, man. The worst thing you could do, I learned this in coaching. The worst thing you could do as a coach is coach like a fan. Because, see, a fan is emotional. Coach it's certain things of why stuff happen. And if you try to coach like a fan or own like a fan, you'll be jumping all over the place and you'll have no continuity at all. Let me ask you this question. You said, Coach, do you think our back end don't rattle to the ball because they all are coming off injuries? And now listen, okay. At one point, listen. Very good question. Very good analysis. Now, I said that earlier in one of my things. We got to get healthy. Some healthy back end players. That that that's just awful of back end players. Our back end players in the backside is bad. I mean, yes, and that may be a cause of us not going after players. But if you hurt, man, let's play some younger guys and they hurt. See, I'd rather play a younger guy that made the NFL that I can go through the growing pains with him, that can go out there and play hard, than to go with a guy that had a reputation because he's a veteran and not getting nothing. I mean, you got in this league, you're seeing every team that they're playing young guys. The older teams that got old guys on defense are not doing well. All defense, and let me explain to you how that goes. NFL is built this way. Young players on defense that you keep drafting every year. You draft young, you play with young players on defense, you play with veterans on offense. The better teams, you got veterans on offense, but your defense, man, we got undrafted figures, draft choices, young guys because they got to be athletic and they got to go out there and sting people. I don't have time for older guys that's nursing injuries on defense. I need guys to go out there and pop. And what we're seeing now is, now let me tell you something about San Francisco. Also, if San Francisco is like a dog, a pit bull, and you would say, what you mean by that? If they sense that you ain't come to the fight with physicality in the back end or come to make tackles, right? They're gonna punk you. If they sense that you're not coming to meet force with force, they're gonna punk you. Now watch on this play right here when he ran a touchdown. Watch what I remember what I told about their secondary and their receiver blocking. And I ain't see this is the replay, but watch what I tell you about their receiver blocking when they go out to block people. That tight end made that play because he didn't run to make a pass play. He ran out there to be the guy if Purdy had to tuck the ball to block. And all that stuff was not one pass completed in that drive. And everybody gonna talk about how he did so great on that drive. Didn't even complete pass. Hand the ball off, long run, another run, roll out, run the ball, touchdown. Didn't even complete a pass in that whole drive. Well, yeah, coaches do things with strategy, but not emotion. Yeah, it's emotional. Coaches do have some emotion, but you can't. Fans' first reaction if a play happens, go and change the guy out. And anybody who's out there been a coach before, it's not always the player that you got to change the play out. And then sometimes there's a player, sometimes the guy in the other jersey that being coached by somebody else just did it a lot better and beat us. You know, I always said this. I always laugh when people do this. When our players run and make a touchdown pass on somebody, it's about how great our receiver is. And then when somebody else run a touchdown pass on us, it's about how bad our defensive back is. But that's a natural instinct. No, that's a natural uh how we say things. When they run a touchdown, when we catch a pass, man, how great our receiver was. When they go and run the same pattern and catch a pass against us, is how bad our defense back was. Well, sometimes they make plays on. What I look for is there's certain consistent things that we have to do, and that you're gonna get some passes caught on. You're gonna be some things that gonna come hiccups, but there's never no excuse for not being physical. No, there's never excuse for not having effort and not chasing. Well, I just want to say something about Coach Sala. G. Hampton, that's a great comment. But that defense had never looked it. It may have looked a little down, but for the last three defensive coordinators they had, the guy that's coaching at in the Texans, you know, the guy before, even the guy that they fired when they went to the Super Bowl, the defense went bad. There's a certain culture with Shanahan, right? Let me say this. There's a certain culture with Shanahan of how he demands his defense to play. And then you could take people like Salah or put it on another level, but their defense is has that same type of mentality. There's a there's a cultural thing there about how they play defense under Shanahan. And and I'm looking for Shotty to find who his cultural person is. You know, if his cultural person is that we play defense like they play defense in Seattle, then that's how it's got to go. But the 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 49ers are right now playing with a lot of backup guys. Listen, they got a lot of young guys that they're playing. Number 48, they talk about him. They playing a lot of young guys in their secondary, man, in their team, but they just play well and they play aggressive. They have very good instincts as football players. And they don't look confused. Look at them. They got communication. They don't really do a lot of scheming. San Francisco, if people tell you San Francisco don't do a lot of disguise and stuff. They usually just line up, and when they line up, they do it so well. They say you got to come attack how we line up. They stay in the same stuff all the time, and they make you attack them. I've learned something about defenses. Defense that go out here trying to do all this scheme, all this trickery, and all this stuff, they can't play because they're trying to trick you into something. But sometimes you got to line up in your base and be able to play. And Chicago will be better suited if they get the run game. I said this again, and I'm gonna say it, and I've been saying it 1,000 times. If you could run the ball, if you got a consistent going at San Francisco running the ball, don't let them fool you and get you off the run because they try to play tough on it. Consistently try to run the ball, you'll be able to get what you want with San Francisco defense. But you can't just go and be one dimensional against them. They'll squeeze you like an anaconda. And what I mean by the anaconda, they'll start rallying on your passing game till they squeeze it to the point where they get you, you know, doing nothing. So you got to really try to consistently run the ball against them. And you can't have penalties. Oh, okay. Do y'all understand what that chop block is on defense? They made a rule. They came up with a rule that when guys linemen pull out there in the open field, that you can't just dive at the lineman legs. The little people can't just dive at the lineman legs and cut them down because they're trying to save the yeah. So even though he was going at the tackle, he cut down the guy that was blocking him, and you can't do that. He could have made the tackle on the guy. He could have cut the guy and make a tackle like that, but you can't cut down the blocker like that. Big play. Now, explosive plays, this game is tied because of explosive plays. And now Shanahan don't like that because he's playing better. His team is playing better overall. But two explosive plays in this game is tied. A pick six, and then you let the people throw a 30 or 40-yard pass down the field, and he wide open. Shanahan doesn't like that because you could play better than a team and lose a game because you gave up too many explosive plays. We know about that, don't you? We don't. Yeah, we we supposed to play kings. We give up explosive plays. When we have explosive plays, we win. When we win the explosive play battle, we usually win because it's either a feast or famine with our team. Either we gonna win the explosive play battle with big plays and win the game, or they gonna win the supposed to play battle and kill us. That's how it goes. There ain't no in between with us. Let me see what you said. Let me read what you said, sir. I didn't get a chance what you said. I was read. He said exactly. I guess you was talking about, but the 49ers for years were getting top picks because they were so bad. Well, when they were bad, we talking about shucks, they've been in the top of the league for the last 6, 7 years. So they ain't been bad. What they did was they don't need top picks. They draft guys and they develop guys and they get guys and it's not all about them having a lot of flash with them. You know, I can't remember none of their first round draft picks. And they offensive line ain't none of them no big time first round guys. Trent Williams is their best, it's not a lot of their offensive line make Pro Bowl, but they work so well as a unit, man. And they don't be all this glamour. They listen, they remind me of a team that they go out, man. You say, well, I know that person got some money. You see these people out there and say, man, I know they got some money because they got an Oxford, you know, some nice shoes, nice outfit, but there's nothing flashy about them. They drive a Lexus or a nice car, but not with nothing flashy with the color, nothing, but it's a very expensive car. But you could look at them and say they got money, but they ain't got no flash about them. They very nice and cut clean, but there's no flash. We need bling. Our fans want bling. We want Pro Bowlers. We want to have uh, Quentin Williams and the guy from the Raiders, and a $20 million Osa, and a Clark for us to be good. Other people don't need all that. The ones that win, they don't need all that. We need all the bling we can get because we think bling is going to make us better, but actually work. We got players, getting them to work together. Now we might need some back end players with some, maybe healthy, like we made in that other comment, and maybe a little bit more physical, and get somebody in here other than Eberflus to change the mentality and get rid of the secondary coaches. But I'm gonna speak on that sometime tonight about beware of how the coaches, how Jerry, why they talking so much, how they gonna handle this defensive coordinator thing. If y'all know anybody that need to watch it, please like, comment, and share this, man. I know Cowboy fans don't like to talk about other teams and all that because we think that we such Cowboy fans that we shouldn't watch no other team or talk about no other team, man. Football is football. You can learn something from other teams. But there's three ways that Jerry might handle this, and I'm going to do a show probably on Tuesday, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, and maybe uh, G Hampton might want to get in on this, but I'm gonna do it. It's three ways that the Cowboys can handle this coaching thing with uh with Eagleflus. It's two cheat ways, three cheat ways. It's four ways you probably can handle this. It's three cheap ways, and I mean cheap ways. I mean where they can save money without paying dead money, as much dead money because Jerry Ben said he can't stand paying dead money to coaches, people that's not coaching for him and still paying the money. And there's one way that they can do it, the big bucks way to get it done and to do it the right way. But let's be careful that they don't do it the cheap way and try to shoot that over to us the cheap way. And I'll explain that on probably Wednesday, the cheap way. But just remember when I say this, Jerry said back in all season, a couple of hours, and he said this. He talked about, I need to pull up that article he had. I think I posted on Twitter where the NFL is paying over 200, I think 200, $300 million of what we call uh dead money to coaches and GMs around the league. If you add all the money of the dead money, that the coaches and GMs that's been fired early before their contract. Evilfus was one of those guys. Evilfus was fired for the Chicago. He's still getting paid from Chicago. The dead money that they're paying collectively in the NFL for people that have fired general managers and fired coaches and assistant coaches, they don't fire them early, and the teams have to pay them out of their contracts. And he said that was that was messed up, and he don't believe in that. So he believe in the guy coaching this whole time here and then not renewing his contract. But hey, man, we ain't got time to wait on bad coaches, right? So let's hope he don't keep that same philosophy and get rid of Eagle Foods and not worry about no little paycheck he got to pay him. Or no other coaches on that staff. So y'all get my drift of how I think this thing may go. So don't let them fool you when they try to throw another narrative out there. Uh, I don't know what type of team we are, G Hampton. Do we? Do anybody know? I don't think the players know. The key thing, listen, man, identity. If any of y'all know anything about life, about your family, about a football team, let's think about your family. If someone came up to you and say, "Man, what type of family y'all are, what are you in your household? What type, what's y'all core value? What kind of family y'all are?" Right? You got to know you should know that we hardworking, man. We really, man, we don't put up with that stuff. We God fearing. You got to know the basics of your family structure. Or if somebody asks you how your family, your parents, well, you can give them some basics. That don't mean it's all the same, but you got a basic stuff about what y'all do. You got to know yourself. And if we got football team, if we watching our football team, we need to know, man, what makes our team tick, what we do, our thing we do, right? If we don't know that, right, and if every week we trying to win a game, we don't know what we need to do to get to win a game. Only thing we know is Dak Prescott got to play well. If Dak Prescott don't play well, it's over with. And other teams don't play like that. So if you don't know your identity, if you don't know yourself and what your identity is, or who knows you, who likes you, they can't point out your identity. You got an identity crisis, and anything that has an identity crisis is going to be mediocre. And what are we this year? And what have we been for the last couple of years? Mediocre. I don't think he might let him have the say so in the next defensive coordinator. Because I think Jerry wanted to hire Eberflus because of the familiarity of Eberflus, and I think they thought Eberflus got out the door when they wanted Eberflus to be here. They didn't want him to leave back in the day because he was such in love with Sean Lee. And I'm gonna make some people really mad. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave Sean Lee alone. Sean Lee never made a Pro Bowl, and that was all pro. But we talked like he was a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying. I want to thank all the people who's in here watching me, and hopefully y'all watching the game too. Um, what you feel about the game? I know we watching the game. You should be watching the game. It's good football, man. It's been some good football on this last couple of days, man. This is play and next week we're and hopefully I'm going to do a live stream next week. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do a live stream next week. I don't know if I'm gonna be here. Um, got some plan on going out of town, but I gotta get some things done with my vehicle. Then hopefully I can get it done to be able to go out of town. But if I do, I won't be doing a live stream of won't be on that live stream of our game. I'll be watching it, and definitely won't be doing a live stream for the watch party. But there's two great games that's gonna be, and they may do them on Saturday. Um, there's going to be two great games. Winner go home. You know, the playoffs start really next week for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. The playoffs start next week for the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both of those teams, both of those games, the winner goes to the playoffs, the loser goes home. So it's nothing, ain't nothing to talk about. Those teams are playing to get into the win a division, to get a home game in the playoffs, and to or go home. So they're gonna be it's all on the line. Those two teams. So um, and they're big time rival games. With Pittsburgh and Baltimore, it's a bloodbath anytime. So it's gonna be even more of a very intense game. So that's gonna be, and I would have loved to do a thing on that game, but I'm not. But that's what's going on. Uh, yeah, Sean Lee was a good player. I mean, we done had some people that had some great years here too. I don't, I don't, I think we talk crazy about Jalen Smith, but Jalen Smith had some great years. I mean, he might not have had all his years been great, but he had some very great years, um, and more splash to his plays. But uh, we had some guys play, but Sean Lee was, he fit the bill. Good guy, smart instinct guy. But again, sometimes yeah, San Francisco. Listen, if you look at this game, if you look at this game, um, Shanahan is really upset here. Now he liked what his team is doing, right? But think about what Shanahan feels like, right? Shanahan feel like in this game, our offense is playing better. They only gave up one long pass on defense, and our offense is doing basically whatever we want to do. And I look up at the scoreboard, and we just up 7 points. So Shanahan is saying to himself in this game right here, we are doing well, but we two explosive plays have made this game competitive. And remember what I said. Now Chicago needs to hold in this game and get themselves together because they got a little medicine to, to ward off some of these effects that San Francisco is shooting at them. Because if they didn't get those two big plays, this might be a 21-28 game, 21 nothing, 28-point game to nothing, right? So um and I listen here, and I want to say something. I want to say some churches in the house. He said in his first comment. Let me go back to his first comment. His first comment said that he felt that we need a better defense coordinator, and I agree, and I totally agree. And I read the defense. Is I don't think the roster is trash, but I will say this: I think we need another defense coordinator because I think that the message he's getting across is not good. But they're gonna bring another defense coordinator. He ain't gonna change no scheme. I don't think it's the scheme. It's about how we played. It's a problem. See, all this stuff about man, well, Man, they're giving up all the players, but scheme. Listen here. Zone or not, they've been playing zone since they've been in grade school. Guys running in the middle, going right through zones. Teams playing zones every day, all day out here. See, and when we get, and the roster's not trash. They got some things that are trash, right? But when you bring another person in here, which I think you need to, they're gonna look at film. Like if I was to come in here, if coach is gonna look at film, and they're gonna say, "Yeah, we supposed to play the zone here. That was the best coverage to do, but we played it like garbage." And see, I need a guy. And listen, I'm not saying this guy. I don't want to hire this guy because some people are gonna say he may be old, but I'm just saying that the type of mentality guy this is. Let's say if you had a Rex Ryan or you had one of these aggressive defense coaches. Let's just say Rex Ryan. And I'm not saying high Rex, but I'm just saying the type of personality Rex Ryan got. See, Rex Ryan got a personality gonna stand on that podium and if you weren't tackling nobody and we weren't hitting nobody, he gonna say it. He don't care about, well, don't say nothing in the media because the players gonna turn on you. No. He gonna get guys that playing hard for him, and he gonna say it when we ain't playing like we playing like trash, and guys ain't and act like they ain't physical. I'm not saying how I dress Ryan. I'm just saying the personality. See what I'm saying? I should have said it because I know y'all say about, but listen, I need the brass personality that don't have no problem of saying we that was stupid. I used to love Bill Parsons. That's what he would say when we had a lot of penalties. You know what he used to say? We got dumb players. Everybody like, we call the players dumb. If you do dumb stuff, see, it's a thin line for calling players out in the media. You don't have to do it all the time, but sometimes you have to do it because I always say this. You can have players, and I said about running the ball. If you run the ball in San Francisco, you can really get big plays. I always say this about players. These days, players. Follow me on this, church, if you on or anybody else. These days, players worry about clicks, views, and what the media say, and what people trolling them in Twitter and all that say. You could talk behind the scenes with a guy about talking about how you need to play hard, right? Us as the media people, we don't know that, right? He get away and keep going out there doing the same thing. Well, you would say, and then we sit the guy. Everybody gonna think about if the guy used to be good, and everybody's gonna be on this side because they don't know what's being said all the time. But sometimes you got to put it out there in the front street about who you really talking to, or you could say something about these defensive backs out here need to tackle better and stop turning tackles down. Because guess what? If you say that as a coach of the Cowboys, guess what? Church, Coach Marv, Boss Cowboy, Lou Takes, Law Nation, uh, um, Jay Tuck, um, Landlord, Henny Sport, know what they gonna do? They gonna look and go run film on every defensive back play, and they're gonna be able to see the ones that turn the tackles down. And they're gonna say, see, he was talking about this. And guess what the player gonna start doing then? They gonna know the spotlight's gonna be on them, and then they gonna tighten themselves up because they know people looking at it now. But when you go up there at the podium and keep talking about, well, yeah, we gotta do better, we gotta work on stuff, and don't put them don't put them on the front street, they gonna continue to do. And guess what? we're not gonna know what the spotlight to see what the spotlight or what the coach is really saying. Sometimes you got to turn the light on the roaches. That's called sometimes coaching through the media. See, I'm in a meeting saying stuff to these coaches. See, one time back in the day, you could ridicule a guy in front of his teammates or get on his case, and that would get over with the player. That would get to him. Now they listen to that. All right, they worried about what the Twitter is saying, what Instagram is saying, what Snapchat is saying about their play. And long as people praising their play, right? They cool with that. They can play this role about, oh, it's the coach's fault. Well, I ain't really know the coach is. Yeah, sometimes you got to say certain things to let us go out and investigate it. Because I already saw it. So say if he said, hey man, we just ain't playing physical enough on the back end. We got people missing tackles. We can't get nobody on the ground. We not rallying on the ball. And that we need to fix that first. Guess what? All y'all content creators gonna be listen. I guarantee you, some of y'all that put film together are gonna be putting film. Gonna say, well, let's see what the coach was talking about. Let's see if we can see that. And guess what the players are gonna say then? Oh shit, yeah, because we gonna put it out there when we see a guy loafing. And I bet you won't have that problem 3 weeks again. I bet that'll be fixed. And if it can't be fixed, we're gonna get rid of it. Because I know for a fact that they had players, and I'm telling you, and I know that from an inside source, that they had players talking about Elam turning tackles down. Till they felt they couldn't fix it no more. And they went here and just cut bait with him. But that's after they let the man play how many games? Again, San Francisco gonna go in this locker room. The coaches on the coaching side. Let's talk about this game right quick. San Francisco is playing better than Chicago overall, right? But this game is tied because of explosive plays. And remember when I kept telling y'all about explosive plays? It can really make put a game in a different stat. Chicago got three supposed plays: pick six, two long passes, and they got 21 points. All the good work is being done by San Francisco. But all that good work, they're gonna keep around, and then Chicago might start playing better. And now it's a crazy game. Yeah, every phase of the team. Yeah. Yeah. And listen, let me tell you what grind starts with. Y'all ever heard of blue collar fan base, blue collar team? We don't have that. That's why it's just so hard for a coach here to do because we don't have a blue collar team. When you go to I went to a Dallas game, my first Dallas game, but I wasn't impressed by the rah rah and the loudness and the craziness of the fans. It seemed like the Cowboy fans were wine and cheese. Matter of fact, it was that Green Bay game, and what's crazy about the Green Bay game, it was just about as many Green Bay fans at the game than it was Cowboy fans. And what was crazy about the game was um, the Green Bay fans were louder, and we not, and that should be our mantra. We gonna be blue cross. We're not gonna be bling bling. So that's why we always looking to get free. See, when we're gonna be always looking to get this free and get that free because we get so name based. We gotta be names. It gotta be names for us for think the guy could play. If he ain't got no name, he can't play. And we go this thing, I'm not dissing this phrase, but that known is the unknown. And listen, ain't nothing known, but you got to play it. You can't tell me this because what your reputation says that's how you gonna live off a reputation. The worst thing you could ever do is start living with a player about what a player did do for somebody else and did and played. Because you start doing that, and if that player start believing that, you're gonna get his butt kicked just about all the time. So yeah, it's about want to, and you so right. Remember I told you about when we watch the film. Remember I told you about when you watch film. When I go watch a game film, what I watch. The first thing when I watch a game film is the first thing I watch is effort and want to. That's before I start watching scheme and how you did certain things. I go through and watch effort and want to first. Because if the effort and want to does not meet the levels where it's supposed to be, if I can't see that, all the scheme and all that stuff don't mean a damn thing. Because it didn't work because the effort and want to wasn't there. You could call the right play and the effort and want to ain't there. It's gonna look like it was the wrong play. San Francisco is playing without Kittle today. Kittle done missed a lot of games. Purdy done missed games. The middle linebacker done missed a lot of. He's been out for the season. May come back in the playoffs. Bosa has been out for the season, and they don't look no different. They look just like San Francisco. That's a credit to their philosophy of how they play. That's a credit to how they play. They don't look no different. They look like San Francisco. Anybody got any questions about this game? I hope y'all out there watching this game, man, because it's a good football game. It's showing you that teams are being persevering. We not Teams are not faltering because they gave us some big plays or whatever. Oh, my cousin. Hey, I told my cousin. I told him that I was my cousin's from Alabama, and he's a it's two of them, and they 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 um they my cousins from my aunt May. Um, my aunt May, one of my dad's only two sisters, and both of them are not here with us no more. And my aunt May, the special thing about my aunt May, um, she's my dad's side, but her and my mother had the same birthday, and so everybody migrates. People all my dad's got a big family. Most of everybody migrates to the sister's children. Um, I used to say that joke, and and some people say, "Man, that's a crazy joke." But one thing about the sisters' children, that them your cousins. The uncles know that they their nephews and nieces because they came from the sisters. So they no doubt about if that's my nephew and nieces. So everybody migrates closer to the sister's children. And my cousin, I sent them a message to let them know because they are together, most of them together right now, to tell them that I was gonna go on live with the Chicago Bear game in Trayvon, and I told him I was going to apologize to the, and I said I'm going to apologize to the little Bears, and I was talking about the little Bears. He gave me a Avenger thing, and he gave me a thing that said it's not the little Bears, it's the Bears, and yeah, it is the Bears because they 11-4, they are the Bears. And listen, Caleb Williams got a chance to be one of the best quarterbacks that the Bears have ever had in their history, and that's an organization that's probably one of the oldest. They 70 some years old, and I don't think they may have one Hall of Fame quarterback, but that was before probably I was born. But this is a team that has played in Super Bowls and have won a Super Bowl, and without having any great quarterbacks. So it's crazy. So, but he may be one of the greatest quarterbacks, but they still gonna live off of running the ball. Um, their defense got to play well. And whenever they have a pretty good defense, they have a pretty good team. And their defense been playing okay this year, but that's their key. And here they down second and goal. They got them. They got them in a spot, but they got the crossing patterns gonna have to another third down. And I think this two down territory. If Shanahan went for it there with the fourth down, he's going for it down here. So unless they have a sack, he's probably playing for two plays. So maybe a run right here. Because if he's gonna do two plays, he may try to run on this play to try to get it in the end zone. He threw another interception. Another big play. Flag down though. This has been a big call all day in the NFL, y'all. This illegal contact has been a big call all day. And I watch, and it's probably the same thing that's been happening all day, that the receiver runs into the defensive back and they call on the defensive back. What they call? Oh, what they call? That's a horrible. Now I'm not one of the ones said about a horrible call. That call right there is horrible. That call right there is horrible. That call right there is horrible call. Well, it's about how we play, not Um, that's what when our players go out. That's that bling. That's that bling stuff. You know, I'm just hoping Shanahan gets listen. And a culture is not built in 1 year. Now I know y'all say, well, we got some. Well, what Chicago doing? They came in and coach in 1 year. Well, it's harder to do stuff in a quick set in Dallas because when you come to Chicago, you got a clear slate, and you ain't got a bunch of people that's pulling you a whole lot of different ways. But Ben Johnson came in there with a no nonsense attitude, and he got their attention. That was a bad call. Let's see if they can come back. See if the football guys straighten this out. But that was a very bad call. Very bad call. I don't if it was if that's the person they called it on. That was a very bad call. That was a very, very bad call. Man, he's celebrating. He just threw an interception. That was a bad call, and he got off. He got taken off the hook because that was a very, very bad very call. I don't know what it had to be somebody else. It wasn't number 35 that they call a legal contact because that was within the 5 yards. 5 yards. Yeah, that's a bad call. That's within the 5 yards, and he didn't do but he put his hands on within the 5 yards. The ball was not in the air. Now, if the ball was in the air, and he was contacting with him. That's a different story. He rolled the guy inside like he's supposed to do, and then he let him go. That's how you call illegal contact with it. And that's contact is you got contact like that on every play. And then the flag was late. Well, some people say we would be 12-4 if we get. Now let's think about this. Every time we go into an off season and we over exaggerate a point, thinking there's one point that causes us problems, and we fix that. If that's and we go in and we talk about that one point. Every year it comes out to be something else that we thought that was good that falters. Our offense has been good, but it's not been consistent like I wanted to be, as consistent as I want to be. That's why it sputters sometimes. That's why it sputters. And see, where we just look at certain things and we just forget about. We like, this is all defense. Yes, it is the defense. Yeah, our defense got to play. Yes, we're gonna go as far as our defense can carry us, but our offense needs to be a little bit more consistent in certain spots. And that's why my videos I've been putting on about first down. We let that game in Washington become a tight game because just not performing on first down. So I don't want to go into this offseason saying defense, 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 defense. Yes, we need to do defense, but our offense needs to be better as well. Yeah, Purdy was in on the design run, but Purdy just listen. That was a design run, but Purdy made a bad throw with that interception. That was a bad throw. That shouldn't have been thrown. And they got bailed out with illegal contact. And then they said we're not gonna put the ball in his hands. We're not gonna put the ball in the air no more. And they designed a run for him, but they weren't gonna put the ball in his hands. But if I'm Shanahan, I'm saying, okay, we up by 7. Yeah, but we should be up by 27. And we up by 7. Now we making this game, we ain't putting this team away because we're playing better than this team. But we ain't putting this team away because we giving up too many explosive plays. And this is where their young the youth on this San Francisco defense comes into play. They play well, but they still can give up big plays because that's where you get a young defense. Sometimes they have lapses. But one thing about Solid, he's gonna continue to play with them, and they're gonna continue to work at what they do. And believe you, they're a mentally tough defense. They mentally tough, so they able to take a blow and take a couple of blows and keep coming out and play. One thing about defense is you're gonna get blows. The measure of a good defense is the offense is gonna make some plays on you, but a measure of a good defense is that they can get the unified and get themselves straightened out and get stops. They just don't let avalanche. What we used to say on defense is we don't let be an avalanche. We don't let stuff snowball. We don't let it snowball from one series to the next series to the next series, and next thing we know, we can't stop a nosebleed. We Hey, you hit us with a blow, then we put our guard up. You won't let you hit you. You won't let you hit with that blow again, and then we're gonna go to work. You know, but we gonna get hit sometimes. That's with a boxer. You get hit with a right straight right hand, you better get your left hand up and block that. Don't let him keep hitting you with it. But then you're gonna go to work, and that's how this any defense should be. And I think this defense will do that. But three big plays is why Chicago is still in this game. Nothing, all the basic work is being done by the 49ers. If y'all got any comments, man, please let me know how y'all think this going. I want to make sure that we can try to get some subscribers here, man. The to-do list, you see the to-do list on the bottom of the screen here. To-do list is like, subscribe, and enjoy. If you liking this content and we're talking about other teams and we're looking at other teams and hearing some of the stuff that we talk about with the Cowboys, and you want to support the show, please cash out me, man. Or if you want to do a super chat, I don't know if it's you got it in the super chats. I'm not watching it on YouTube. So, but I'm on a Riverside. So, but I know I'm being broadcast on YouTube. But if you want to support the channel, um, supporting the channel through Cash App and putting a comment in the chat box and say, "Hey, man, Coach, I sent you something. This is my comment. Please put my comment up there. It'd be great." But my Cash App is PBS 222, and let me know you support the channel and what. And in the message, if you send me anything with Cash App, but in the comment section, say put in there, YouTube or Twitter or something of that nature. Well, if you don't, your support of the channel is just hitting that like button, subscribe, sharing, but just enjoy. We talking about football. We talking about some of the philosophy I think that we're seeing from other teams. We in a good game here, but it goes back to the same thing I've been saying all the time. Explosive plays play a big role in keeping games in place or not letting games get out of reach. You could be playing bad and get more explosive plays and keep the game in reach and win some games. Chicago is in this game for three explosive plays, three long touchdown passes, one off a broken play, off of offsides, another one off of a long pass, and a pick six. Three explosive plays got them 21 points. The actual driving the ball down the field and getting plays and driving the ball has been San Francisco. And then we had another explosive play they called back because that was another interception, which would have been a crucial another explosive play. And I think that was a bad, bad, bad call with illegal contact. So can San Francisco get some of their explosive plays back? They want a turnover right here so they can try to go up by 14 points at halftime. But if Chicago gets a field goal out of this, hey, I would consider this a great half, a good half for Chicago. Not a good half in the sense that they're outplaying San Francisco, that they're getting outplayed and they're only down. If they get a field goal, they'll be only down 4 points. Um, but they can't turn the ball over here. You could be aggressive. I want to get points, but let's be careful with the ball because you don't want because you give a interception here or a turnover, it could be detrimental to you. You can't miss that throw, Caleb Williams. That's a throw you got to make. San Francisco plays zone, man, and they play it well. Mm. You can play zone, man, and it almost look like man. If you um I heard some people say, man, we playing zone, we guarding the grass. Yeah, you got people guarding grass that they ain't got no instincts. They stand over there guarding grass. The quarterback ain't looking at them. There's no route combination coming towards them. They're not moving as a hand and moving the zone that's covering the routes. They just stand over there guarding that. If you got teams that do that, then yeah, you just got bad people that's playing zone. Good possession by San Francisco. I tell you, San Francisco is outplaying them with the stops and all that stuff. It's just the big plays. Don't fumble the ball on this punt. Now is he gonna be aggressive with Purdy, knowing that Purdy done threw two, knowing Purdy has threw one interception and another interception? Is he gonna be is Shanahan gonna be aggressive with Purdy? I believe the first thing they're gonna do is throw a screen pass or a draw play to see if they can get a chunk yards. I don't think he's going to be aggressive to Purdy until he gets at least by the 40-yard line, 30, 40-yard line. Then he may go all out of slot with him, but I don't think he's going to be aggressive right off the bat throwing the ball down the field. We talk about other teams, but as you see, I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm going to rep my Cowboys. We're a Cowboy. I'm a football person, so we're watching the other teams, but we watching in the sense of learning what we see of them and see if we can do some of the same things. You and me, girl, go a long way back. Cause y'all hold 1 second. I'm just gonna put y'all on mute a little. I'm back, people. Had to take care of some business. I know y'all looked at me and said, "Well, Coach, you talking? Nobody can hear him." But well, a good halftime. What a good halftime. Well, again, big plays is the only thing keeping Green Bay um in this game. I mean not Green. I'm sorry, keeping Chicago in this game. They're getting dominated in the actual game plan, but the big plays is like I said. Told you everybody always told people say big plays can be a key in winning football games. It can keep you in games. It can put you out of games as well if you're giving up too many big plays. Big plays is a very very tough thing if you're giving up big plays on a football on a in a football game. You can't give up big plays and expect to be you can't give up big plays and expect to have success against your teams if you're giving up explosive plays. And especially um I know some people say, well, coach, they San Francisco winning, they're giving up the big plays, but they're keeping them in the game, and then the game could turn around at any moment because they're keeping them in the game because they're giving them explosive plays. When you have when you have two teams, playoff teams, when you have when we watch these games, as we're gonna be watching these games during the playoffs, I want y'all to watch a couple of things in playoff games when you're getting better teams and we play and they're playing for high stakes. Explosive plays, turnovers, and bad penalties. Explosive plays, turnovers, and bad penalties is not about how many plays you make. Is it's gonna be plays made, but those are what we call mistakes. When you give up explosive plays, you turn the ball over, or you have bad penalties. Those three things in tight games when you have competition that's equal, or you playing with good teams, they can be the deciding factor of who wins the game. So you got to win the explosive play battle. And remember, I talked about my battles. You got to win the turnover battle. You need to win the penalty battle. And you need to win the physical and the effort battle. There's four battles you got to win. If you win those four battles in a game, when you're talking about the better teams playing against each other, you have a chance to win most of those games. You know, those are the type of things that those four battles, those three battles is always key to to winning to winning games. I did a I did a show um one time on those same those battles um on those battles that you have that can cost you games. Um and those battles are very key to winning football games. And in those battles you got to be able to win those battles to win football games. And if you win those battles, you have a good chance of winning games. Um, I remember doing a show on this. I remember doing a show on this, and and when I did a show on this, I talked about the four battles that you must win, and especially in these big games. And and we're gonna look at these battles right at this point right now. If you look at the battles at this in this game right now, these four battles, the four battles you must win to win big games. Um, right now, Chicago is winning the turnover battle because they got a pick six. It's even especially when you get a pick six plus an explosive play on top of that. So they got that is a pick, is a turnover plus is an explosive play. I believe that they're close to winning all explosive plays, but San Fran has some explosive plays in their offense, but they're not explosive plays to add to touchdown, but they've been having some explosive plays. But right now, I would give the slight edge to Chicago because of the pick six and the two long touchdown passes. The penalty battle, I think San Francisco is winning that because there were some penalties that really hurt Chicago. I think San Francisco is winning the penalty battle, and the effort and physical battle. I think that's being won by San Francisco because if you look at it, they're having more consistent running the ball. They're more physical running the ball, and without the explosive plays, their defense is kind of being stagnated with Chicago. But this game is a 7-point game. Yes, it's in San Francisco favor, but if Chicago, if they can eliminate the explosive plays in the second half and play the same way, this game will be a blowout. But right now, this game is tight because of those explosive plays and that turnover. It's still a 7-point game. So if I'm going into halftime, it's two ways I'm looking at this. If I'm going into halftime, it's two ways I'm looking at this at this lead. I'm looking at it in two ways. I'm looking at it as San Francisco should be kind of upset that this game is even close as well as they're playing. Chicago should be feeling very fortunate because they don't feel like they've been playing a real consistent game and they only down 7 points. So coming out the second half, Chicago gets the ball. Now the last 8 minutes of the middle 8, I know sometimes y'all hear about it, that's the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. The last 4 minutes of the first half, I would say San Francisco won because they scored within those 4 minutes, and then they stopped. Then they stopped Chicago and got the ball back, but they didn't score again. So San Francisco won the last 4 minutes of the first half. Now Chicago gonna have a chance to come out on the second half and win the first 4 minutes. This is very important. When I remember when I was watching the Washington game of the Cowboys, we came out after having a very good first half. We came out the second half and started sputtering by not doing, it's almost like a boxer, right? We done won by 7, 8 rounds, right? Still, you work your game, work the body, move your head, combinations. But we seem like we started being headhunters. We just started throwing haymakers. And what we did is lost rounds. Looking for the knockout. And you're not going to get the knockout. You got to work your way to get the knockout. And the open blows will get there. The knockout punches will be there. So coming into the second half, Chicago got a chance to get back into this game and get some consistency or try to get another big play. San Francisco locker room is saying, let's keep the momentum. We just ran out of time. That we could have scored again on them. We just ran out of time. If we could get a stop this first possession, we can get up by 14 points because we're going to put the ball in the end zone. And then we put the ball in the end zone. Now we're going to make them work their way down the field. Look for San Francisco to be a little bit more vanilla in their defense and try to cut down on the big plays and make sure Chicago work themselves down the field. Especially if they get up by 14 points. That means they're not going to not saying they're going to lose their aggressiveness, but they're gonna make sure they're not giving up these big plays. Any interest in more comments? I'm not getting a lot of comments. Yeah, running the ball. Yeah, running the ball. Um, my special friend. She is always. Man, hey, my friend, my love Ginger is always in the chat box. She's always watching. Now, do she know a lot about football? Yes, she do a little bit about football, but she understands. She's very supportive in the chat, and I know y'all be talking about in it. She be telling people about liking and commenting, subscribing because she is a big time supporter of me. And she's right in her comment here. Explosive plays and turnovers and bad penalties will kill you in any big game. Those are the things that you want to ward yourself from in any big game, and these things go directly to those battles I said about the explosive play battle, the turnover battle, and the penalty battle, and the effort and playing hard. We think that will always be in a big game. That should be there all the way across the board because guys that play a big game, the effort and playing hard. But you can play hard, but you still got to be disciplined enough not to give up explosive plays, not to turn the ball over, or to get turnovers, be physical enough to make people turn the ball over, not to give up explosive plays or find explosive plays for your team, and not have bad penalties. Pre-snap uh, penalties are the worst. They make first downs easier. They give offense and defense more plays. So all those things are very important. If my Alabama crew is watching, put some in the comment and let me know that y'all out here watching the show. Put me a Auburn Tiger Auburn go Auburn stuff in here or go Alabama stuff in. I know my crew from Alabama is watching the telecast because this has been a good game, man. Two good football teams going at it. The if Chicago wins, um, they'll have the division, but they're trying to get the number one seed. If San Francisco win, they have a very good road to see if they can get to that number one seed. Um, I think the number one seed is going to help San Francisco more than any other team because they're a veteran team at this, and they're not per se they're a veteran football team at this. They got some that's been in this playoff run, but they're a veteran organization of the playoffs, so they really know how to prepare their team and how they've been doing this in the past. Um, I wouldn't want some people like Chicago to have number one seed because I think them being off a week may destroy them because they're not used to this. Um, so I wouldn't want them to have a number one seed. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to. I think it wouldn't help them as much. Um, uh, and then there are some other people that I wouldn't think. Let me see what this statement right here was. Why is it looking at how these teams are playing with aggressiveness is totally different from how the Cowboys play? Well, man, there's a lot of hitting and aggressive play, and then, I just think sometimes we as Cowboy fans we don't point out that we. And I'm not saying the coaches need not bad, but sometimes we gotta start saying, "Hey, man, when we see a guy not rallying to the ball or we not flying to the ball, we can't blame the coaches on that because there's not a coach out there that had to tell people they rally to the ball. It's not they ain't coaching nobody like that. But I think when we start talking about the coaches and blaming everything on the coaches, our players have a tendency to start slacking off, and because they say the only thing you're gonna do is blame the coaches. Yeah, but I'm watching you too. So yeah, it's a difference. And I think sometimes we need to, and this is what we need to do. We need to look at other teams and say, where's the difference? Because I hear people talking about, yeah, well, you can't, man. Listen, where they playing so much man to man, the better teams in the league, that's what they play. They play in zone. And they play in zone in a way because they know that that's in this league, sometimes that's the best way to go because you're gonna make all eyes on the ball. And you can turn a guy over, you got eyes on the ball, but you gotta be good at it. You can't be lax in the zone or man to man or whatever. You can't be lax and get something across. So let me get back to this to the game. I was just watching myself on YouTube where if you hadn't liked and commented and subscribed, let's look at those likes. I don't know what the likes look like out there. I'm not watching it on YouTube. Maybe my baby Jen can tell me what the likes are. But let's get the likes up and um, hopefully we've been sharing this information, sharing this stuff to your people out there, and hope you just enjoying. And we talking about football. We learning about football and we trying to get. So this is back in the second half. I'm sorry, was messing around and then get back into the second half, but. First and 10, starting the second half. I don't know if I don't know if the Chicago got a first down or not. I just clicked back on. So where the ball at? It's showing Swift. So they been making some big plays. So they over the 40-yard line. So yeah, they on the move. Big play. Big play 91. What I say when you stuff first down. You stuff first down, you stuff first down. Now what San Francisco say, their defense coach Solid say, I'm in control now. We finna get back in control of this possession. Yep. Stuff first down. Now you, you put pressure on them to do something on second down. And then they try to go small and get some yards, and now they really behind the sticks. Now you got them in third and 14. If I'm solid now, I'm saying we're gonna turn them over now. See? Now we're looking for turnover. Now Ben Johnson is saying he did not like this series, this secret, because he did not want to get behind the sticks because he know that this first 4 minutes is very important. Ah, the minor. Good play. Let's look at it. Did they react on the secondary? Because they was in the zone when that guy ran that out. Let's see if the coverage didn't push him, cut right in front of the safety. Safety was coming, but he reacted a little too late. He was coming, but he got there too late. Back to first down and see how they attack on this first down. They come out play action pass. Got to There you go. Very good play. Completion on first down is always good. Not saying you can't get big third down plays. You just don't want to live in that neighborhood. All right. I used to tell people when I was coaching, I was saying, hey, it's like living in a neighborhood. It's not that we can't do stuff in the neighborhood. It's not that like they got good house, we can have some fun sometime in the neighborhood. It's not. It should have been snapped the ball, Caleb Williams. You had them run all around the field. You could have been snapped the football. I don't know what you waiting on. Bad play by your quarterback. He should have said, okay, they running people all kind of crazy off the field. You should have went ahead and snapped the football, man. But I was saying you just gonna live in that neighborhood. And what I mean by live in that neighborhood, it's good to visit. Look at this here, man. Anytime you stop first down the goal line, you in control. They stopped that first down on the goal line. Now they putting the pressure on. Now, even though this is a long distance third down, even though it's in the goal line, because it's not that it's the passing area is not that big. So this is like throwing the ball 14 yards down the field because they're guarding close. So it's gonna be a tight window throw. Good job. Went the outside route and made them attack. Don't that look familiar about team doing that against us? They did that against us as well. But they outflanked San Francisco on that. Look at that. They got 1, 2, 3 over there to they 1, 2, 3. And did that defensive end get hooked? He can't let that happen. He can't get blocked down on that, even though you came out there. Watch that. You number two. Good job of corner coming up. Safety just ain't feel the lane a little faster. But that outside defensive end can't get cut like that. Folks, we got 28-28 time. Let's see what my Alabama people are saying. I know that see if they can you can hear them on the phone. They may not answer my phone call. Can't get you out of my mind.
Hello.
What's going on, Chicago fan?
What's going on, 49er fan?
I ain't no 49 fan. I ain't no 49 fan, no sir. If I'm rooting for anybody, I'm rooting for Chicago today. If I'm rooting for anybody, man. How you feel about the game, man? How you feel about the game so far?
Hey, I'm looking at, hey, man, I surprised you. I thought you got that ready. I thought I could fix the E. And I figured, well, I know you. I ain't thinking it was you because you on live.
And I got you on live now. Everybody hear what you saying.
Oh, but listen, it is what it is, man. Listen, I'll be honest with you. Everything you said is correct because if it wasn't that big stick at the beginning, we probably be down by 14 points.
Yeah, big plays. Y'all getting big play, but that was a crucial drive there. That was a real
Oh, yeah.
drive there.
Hey, now you did toss over the last 4 minutes and beginning of first 4 minutes. It was key. Listen. I give you credit on that.
That third and 16, that third and 14 was a big play. I just say you don't
Yeah.
you can make plays like that. You just don't want to live in that neighborhood. It's good to visit that
No.
neighborhood. You can visit every
Oh,
once in a while, but you don't want to live in that neighborhood. That's not
yeah.
a good neighborhood to live in. Live in.
My thing is this defense need to start doing something. Now you was right. That was goddamn messed up call.
Yeah, that call was
Yeah,
it.
that's
That's
like man,
horrible,
that was
man.
that was game time.
That's a horrible call. I don't know what they were seeing on that. And the flag was late. If you
Yeah.
recall that was happening in the first couple seconds of the play. How you gonna call that flag late? How you gonna call later on after the play over? Then you gonna throw a flag say legal contact? That don't I don't understand that. But Still 28-28. So it's really anybody game. Uh,
Yeah.
Hopefully they can make Purdy. If they take Purdy's first read down, but I guess 49ers gonna come out running the ball the second half. They just need to be start on the run and put the ball, make them put it in Purdy hands and see if they can get another interception from him.
I hope so.
Yeah. All right, man. I just wanted to check on man. Hey, people. This is my family from Alabama. This is the only Chicago fan that I probably know in the history of Chicago fan because there's not that many of them, but he's one of them.
We ain't many of them. We ain't well. We just don't talk as loud as y'all fans do.
All right, man. I hope y'all win this
All right,
game.
man.
Later,
You do the
man.
same, man.
All right.
All right.
Well, Bob Purdy came out and said he said, Coach Mar, what you talking about? I'm finna come out here throwing the football. Again, if he Shanahan runs a play and he say this guy's gonna be open and that's where he gonna throw the ball. It is already predetermined where he gonna throw it. If that guy's open, he gonna let it go. Watch. Watch him on this. He don't look nowhere else. Watch him on this highlight. He looking where he gonna throw the ball. He don't look no place else. I'm watching you watch his head. He don't look nowhere else. He throwing the ball to that guy in that spot from the start with, and he knows how to do. He know how to do his instructions, and he gonna do exactly what Shanahan tell him to do, and that's why he's a Shanahan guy because he gonna do exactly what he say do. When he gets off script and try to do something, because we take away what Shanahan call, because the defense in Shanahan head, they say this is what he gonna try to do, and then he has to do other stuff, then he in trouble. Then you get him in trouble. I know she ain't sending no. Come on, baby. Thank you, Miss Jen, and thank you, Samuel. Samuel, Samuel, appreciate you, brother, man. Always been always good for man. You supporting the channel, man. I appreciate you, Samuel, man. Thank you so much, and keep on supporting, man. We're gonna keep on trying to get this thing better. A lot of my other content creators, they don't really go through. And I'm not saying they don't. It's wrong for them, but they don't they don't really go through and watch other teams because. But we're gonna really try to rely on trying to learn something because we can do some good things. If we watch the other great good teams, we can probably get better. And I just want y'all to watch their mental toughness in these games. They're not shaking their head and falling apart because they're getting blows with them. And listen and listen, listen. This what gets me. And I'm not going at you, T move, but listen. And he been saying this about Purdy, but this statement he made right here. What weapons? See, we talk about weapons. Killers don't play. He got his weapon. He got his weapon running back, but the rest of these guys and receivers are not big name guys. They got rid of Debo, and the other receiver they signed a big contract is still out with a knee problem. But they don't go out and say, well, we need to go sign another a big time wide receiver. They don't go out and say we need two number one wide receivers. Yesterday, like their running back, but they running back be out sometime. They got a backup. Their offense is their weapon. They don't have to go out and get certain. Yes, they're even better when they got kiddos and guys that's making plays, but they don't rely on names to be their weapons. Shanahan says my offense makes weapons. Oh, what happened there? I don't think San Francisco got. Let me see how many penalties San Francisco. Anybody remember any of uh, San Francisco got any penalties? Let me pull up the box score here. I don't even think San Francisco got any penalties, or very few. San Francisco got two penalties for 30 yards. They 5 for 7 on third down. One and they got no penalties. They got two penalties for 30 yards. Very efficient offense. They're not doing anything other than that pick six earlier. They're not doing anything to hurt themselves offensively. Everything is positive. They're not getting penalties that hurt themselves. They're not getting negative plays on offense. And I think Purdy, if you go back to the stats of Purdy, and I'm not saying Purdy's playing well, but he only got 6 incompletions. So whenever he throw the ball, if it's short, whatever, he's completing the ball. They're not hurting themselves with penalties. So they're not hurting themselves offensively at all. So when a team doesn't hurt themselves offensively at all, and they continue to get positive yards, and they're efficient like that, it's hard to stop them. It's almost like when a snowball started rolling down here. It's hard to stop them once it gets rolling. And if you ever hear people say when a team get in their rhythm and continuity, and today they are really in a rhythm and continuity. Second and 5, big down. Purdy gonna swing it. There he come. Got to make the tackle. Miss one tackle and miss two tackles. Oh, he's not gonna throw another interception like he did before. Excuse me. That's first down. First down. Chicago, if you're gonna stop him, you got to dominate this first down. You got to get a tackle for a loss. That was a great play by Purdy, and I'm not lying. That was a great way to use his feet. All that dancing though, but save some of that dancing for the playoffs. Save some of that dancing. Another good drive, man. Another great drive. Great drive. Improvise. Very disciplined team. Very disciplined team. Yeah, and that's why. And that's another why the reason why San Francisco, because they're not only disciplined in the penalty area, they're disciplined of how they do and how they play. And they know who you are. They know how they're supposed to play, and they make sure that they stay within those rules of playing. And they can always go into a game, leave a game, and say, "This is not how we play. This is not how we do certain things. This is not how." And they can get you. It's easy to get back and to correct yourself on the second game if you know that this is how you're supposed to play. It's very easy to do that. So um, that's very important that they got that philosophy in them to be able to play in those certain in that certain rate, that certain area. 7 point lead. Now, there's people in the chat. I want y'all to make sure. I'm going to step away from the camera for a second. I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna step away from the camera for a second. I'm not gone. I'm the live stream, but I got to use the bathroom for a second. So I'm gonna step away from the camera for a second. So people who's in the live stream, in the chat, uh, just hold on. Don't leave. Let's keep watching this game to the conclusion. We got 2 more quarters. Let's see if the Chicago can make an answer. Thank y'all for holding in there with me. Chicago say they won't go away. They come right back out here and start driving the ball. That's not legal contact. Let's watch that play. Let's see if they got the guts, the TV guys is going to show this one. That ain't legal contact. That's crazy. Well, like I said, you're going to have contact more than that on any play. That's a great throw by Caleb Williams on a run like that. Throw the ball on down and out on the sideline, rolling that way, throwing against your body. That's a great play. You see how their linebackers attack the run play? There's certain times they attack the run play and they catch it in the backfield. Yeah, that's something I wish our linebackers would do that a lot better. Um, and that's go back to what I've been saying all the time about the defense. When we got Eagle Flues, I told them that for the defense to work, for Eagle Flues defense to work, if you're on the back end of this defense, the people on the back end they got to see it and go get it. They can't wait. If you got a tag style defensive line that's going up the field, your back end got to see it and go get it. No, this here we go. Here we go with this. Look at that. That's a great stop there. And they got a holding call there. Yep, holding call there. Big penalty. Big penalty. I told you big penalties. So you get into this type of game, a big penalty, that's a hurting penalty there. Even though it's gonna be fourth down, but you was in a place that you could go for it. But that's a big penalty there. Yeah, that's a hold, people. That's a big penalty. You should let that go. That's a big penalty. So again, big penalties can go. They say slim and not none that we no, we want Brian Flores. Now listen, Brian Flores would be a good, but listen, hey man, I've said this before. I told people this before. There ain't no salary cap with coaches, and the salary cap is a fictitious number anyway, because they make the salary cap because they got people out there. They can. The salary cap don't mean actual cash money. Coaches mean cash money. Now, if we want to go the cheap route, because historically in the last 15 years we had the lowest coaching staff in the NFL, one of the lowest coaching staff salaries in the NFL. Okay, I mean, I would kick the field goal here. I'm sorry. I would kick the field goal here because you're gonna need to get off. You're gonna get the field goal, and you get 31. You still gonna need a touchdown to win. This you can put yourself out of reach by not getting no points here. Good job. They blitzed him. He got the first down, but I still would have. Yeah, it worked out, but He's an aggressive coach, but you can't win the game here. But you could have put it when you could have put it in a situation you win the field goal, and then now you because you still gonna have to make a stop. But Brian Flores, yeah, I would love him. But this is just church. This is what gets me about that. Why? See, we talk about this is where we shouldn't demand. See, free agency, they can always corral this, which the Cowboys ain't in salary cap here. Don't believe all that stuff talking about how far they over salary cap. They got switches they can kick with Dak Prescott get 19 million. CeeDee Lamb on his second year contract. They got still kick switches with Osa contract. All of them can release money. Listen, they didn't sign Quentin Williams not knowing what the salary cap that they can fit it with salary cap and all that. Listen, man, they smart enough. They ain't this reckless and did that. So don't believe that. Second thing is they can't tell us about no salary cap when it comes to coaches. If you got the most valued franchise, why in the last 15 years your coaching staff is one of the lowest paid coaching staffs in the league? Nobody sees that. They are. Philadelphia defensive coaching staff, when they went and got Dick Fangio 2 years ago, when they had all that problems with their defense, they went and got Dick Fangio from Miami, and they went and got every defensive assistant coach that he wanted. Check it out. Go and look at it. The defensive line coach he got was one of the highest paid defensive line coaches. Their secondary coach is one of the highest paid defensive secondary coaches. They went and got the people that Fangio wanted, and look how it's done paid dividends. Number one defense last year, they actually won them a Super Bowl, and they're showing you now that their defense is what's carrying them right now. But Dick Fangio didn't come at a cheap price. And you had to pay the people that he got to coach under him. So if we think Flores is going to price himself out, don't let our Cowboy ownership get off the hook like that. Because they can't bring Dak Prescott at $60 million a salary cap when it comes to coaches. I made the argument where I talked to somebody the other day and I said, listen, that's like having a Bentley car and going to get cheap we got a gas station here called Smiley where you get the cheap gas. It's a cheap gas station. Another big play. That's like driving a Bentley and going to get Smiley gas. Because we don't want to pay coaches. Schottenheimer is probably one of the lowest head coaches in the league. You ain't pay Eaglefuss no money because you gave him a lower contract because you knew Eaglefuss still get paid by Chicago. You moved the guys up that the offensive coordinator, he came from assistant coach job, so you ain't getting no money. Our coaches are not getting paid. This is why you get some of the stuff you get because you're not investing in the stuff that runs your organization, your coaches. But our fan base don't talk about that. We talk about players. But if you look at our coaching staff, it's the lowest paid coaching staff in the last 15 years. Why is that we the richest organization in football? How that happen? So if it's a coach out there, don't let our organization get off the track talking about, well, they, he might price himself out. If that's the guy you feel that you want that's gonna get your defense to where it is, pay him the money. And don't worry about if you lose on that. That's why I say Sean Payton would never. Sean Payton loved that. Him and Jerry got a good relationship, but Sean Payton wasn't gonna come in for no $6 million a year, no $7 million a year. You had to pay Sean Payton $15, $16 million. You talking about Bill Belichick coming for what? Bill Belichick ain't coming here for no $5 million. Bill Belichick, defense coordinator, offense coordinator, will get $2 million, $2 or $3 million. Yeah, his linebacker coach is gonna get about $800,000, $900,000. His defense, yeah, because he gonna pay the guys that he want that's top notch, that's got the reputation to get what they need to get done. And they ain't gonna come here with no coaching staff to get paid all together $10 million when you put everybody together. 15, $20 million when you put everybody together. No. Them guys working with a budget of a 30, $40 million coaching staff. That's right, going to Jiffy Lube. You got a Bentley and you taking it to Jiffy Lube to get the oil change. Because you say, oh man, they some good mechanics down there. They change oil. They do a good job down there. But I'm gonna give them a chance because anybody can change the. This is what you saying. It's a Bentley. Anybody can work on the Bentley because it's a Bentley. It's gonna work well. No, it ain't. See, I said this in the show. Go back in my log. I said one of the biggest things that Jerry has made the biggest mistake in when y'all want to talk about Jerry. Jerry said something back many years ago when Jimmy Johnson, when he got rid of Jimmy Johnson. He felt if he can get talent here, he can get anybody to coach talent. He can find 100 people to do that. That's something he done stood 10 toes down on. He feel like he can get this or that because, and our fan base has gotten he done got our fan base thinking the same thing. We can get anybody to coach as long as we get 4 or 5 all pro guys and get 100 free agents. We can get anybody here and we'll be good, just as good. We can get anybody to be a defense coordinator. We get Max Cosby and Quinn and all those guys and go get some more free agents. Anybody can come here defense coordinator to be good. No, that ain't the case. It takes players and coaches to win championships. It ain't gonna just be one or the other. And Nick Saban and Bill Belichick said one thing in the art of coaching. He said good players can't take bad coaching. Chicago has not had a pass rush this year. I did hear that about Chicago. They don't have no pass rush. They try to manufacture pressure, and sometimes they can't get there. So they don't have a real pass rusher. And Purdy had to wait for that in cutting route. If they got a pass, this is one time if they had a pass rush, they could have stopped that play. I'm looking for Purdy to throw an interception sometime soon, people. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that the fans need that bling. That's what it is. That the fans are the one need bling. We need to have. I think sometimes our fan base want a name player so we can have something to talk about with other people because we feel embarrassed. We embarrassed because people talking about we ain't made the playoffs. They be like, "Oh, we got so and so." We want the guys to have the biggest contract so we can say we got so and so, and that's going to change it. Man, let's just get other teams. Listen, I love what San Francisco is doing. I'm not a San Francisco fan, but when they got the guys got hurt, they didn't go out and say, "Hey, man, we need to go get a pass rush or a trade to get so and so." They say, "Hey, man, our way we play, we just going to adjust some things, but let's play hard and see if we can overcompensate with other areas. But let's keep at it." because we believe in what we do and how we go about our business. And here they sit at 11-4. Got to him that time. And anytime you get to him, you can make him make some bad throws. And I can see him throwing the interception for this game is over with if they keep putting it in his hands like this. He bailed on that pass. He got a little, yeah, he got a little nervous because he thought he was gonna get hit. He heard them footsteps. Good start for Chicago. Now they got a chance to be in the driver's seat. Can they get a good return on here and get good field position? Good catch. He didn't let it. That's a fair catch. Best thing he could do with that. Thank y'all for whoever the people that sent cash apps, man. If you're enjoying the show, you're enjoying what we content, you want to have more things like this during the playoffs, so we can see not just San Francisco. We're gonna maybe check out some AFC teams. We're gonna check out good playoff teams, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at them and say we're gonna be able to tell who's the real contenders, and we're gonna see what we're gonna talk about is one thing. One thing we're gonna talk about is do we see the same qualities in teams that we're seeing in these playoff runs? But if you want to support the channel, anything you're saying, man, to support the channel, we can get so we can make sure that we can continue to give you content and get better at giving this content to you. I never thought, man, in my wildest dream, I'd be 157 videos in. That's crazy, 150 some videos. So I have come on here a lot with y'all, man, and we're talking a lot. I remember I was very camera shy one time. I'm not camera shy at all now. So and uh, but I enjoy coming here talking football, man, and getting somebody. Maybe here's my cash app. If you want to cash app the show, that's what use the cash app there. Remember we talked about certain things, man, in this during the year. I was just looking through some of my stuff that I was looking through. Um, and we talked about a lot of stuff, but I remember having this thing up here uh, when I was talking about certain explosive plays. I say that can be a make or break of a defense. It can make a defense work so hard and they give up explosive plays and people can't drive 'em. But Chicago is showing you in the second half that they got a big run, but they're showing you they're making it's not about explosive plays. They got in this defense now where they're working on this defense and getting them getting down the field on them. So it's a big possession on this possession if they can come out and get something to going. That's right, and you're right. Sam, that's why the fans need bling, and looking for that bling in the football on the football team is not a good thing. I mean, yeah, everybody want players, and I'm not saying you can't do it without players. Now, don't get me wrong without players, but look at these other teams. They're not having that. They don't have that many names. And why are they successful? And they're just not one team. You look at Seattle, you look at this team, that team. Like I said, veteran offenses is where you go. Young defenses is where you go. You can sprinkle some veteran guys in there, but you want to be majority, mostly younger. But you can still have some veteran guys in there. Good play. Great first down play. Caught San Francisco in a corner blitz, and when you blitz, you throw towards the blitz. They caught them in a blitz, and they were throwing the ball the same side. You throw into a blitz because they let a guy go on that side that's coming. That means they left one guy on that side, and that turned into a big play. Throw the ball away or get yards. There you go. Good. Hey, long as he getting first down, long as he getting yards, And how many yards he got on that? The second down and what? He did get about three. I think he got about 3, 4 yards. Hopefully he got three. Yeah, he got 3 yards. That's still good. I mean, it's not you're not ahead of the sticks, but you right at the crest of the sticks. You even with the sticks, basically. Big play here. They don't need it. They still need to run the football. They don't need to abandon the run. They don't need to abandon the run. Yeah, they don't need to abandon the run. And it's not about taking time off the clock. It's just about them moving the ball and not getting one dimensional because they have been able to run the ball against them. Did he get a flag on that? Oh, come on now. Well, you must want to get a flag on. That was must be an earlier play. You get a ton flag here, man. That's undisciplined. They might bust this run a long way. Yep, it could have, but that's that. Hey, first down. It's not. I understand when you say my run the clock down. It's too much time on the clock. They just need to be efficient to score. And I understand when you say run the clock down, but if they do well, they probably won't get this down. If they from this point, if they get positive yards, they make it take 4 or 5 more minutes off if they drive it all the way and score. But right now, it's about execution. It's not about speed. It's not about the time on the clock. It's about executing each play and making them a positive play. No negative plays, no incompletions, no sacks, no penalties, all positive plays, and come right back with another big play. That's a hell of a football throw. And you see who's making all these plays for these teams, right? How many tight ends have caught big plays in this game? A lot. So when people tell you the tight ends don't mean nothing in offense, let me tell you something. As a defensive coordinator, that's the worst matchup because especially if you got wide receivers, you have to end up putting the line back on him. You get an athletic tight end, or you put a safety on him, and he's this strong. It, listen, that's a horrible matchup sometimes. But another big play by them. They run the ball, they might break it. That's a bad. Caleb Williams, what you doing, man? That's that's all on your quarterback. That's a bad. Caleb, what you are doing? What you waiting on? To get a delay of game there is horrible by your quarterback. Now, two things can happen with the delay of game. It puts you behind the sticks as a negative play. Now you behind the sticks. Now you may be looking at field goal or turnover. See, those 5 yards right there will put you at 2nd and 5. Now it's 2nd and 10. Mm. There's a flag. Let's see what this penalty is on. This penalty is he bad penalties. That's a bad penalty by the layer game. That's a bad penalty. That's a bad penalty. You see, that's a bad penalty, San Francisco. See, these are dumb penalties. These are the things that when a coach goes on the podium and he talks about a team, talk about his team, and this right here calls it. This is where the guys need to go on the podium and say, 48, that's a dumb play. That's a dummy. That's a dumb player play. That's what he needs to say. And he can get huffy and puffy, be like, well, you call the players out. If it's the truth, You can call players out. One thing I understand about players, other players are not gonna get upset with you calling players out if you tell them the truth. Let me say this. I hear people say, "Well, the coaches, the players, they call the players out. The coaches ain't. They gonna turn on the players." Let me tell you something. If a coach is straight up, it's two things I always say about coaching that you need more than the X's and O's. Or two things you need more than like and love. I always say that you don't need your players to like and love you as much. You need them to respect and trust you. If they respect and trust you, they'll learn to like and love you at the end. What kind of play is this, man? What we doing, man? First you f up on first down. You get enough. Now you second down. All the stuff that they gave you, instead of running the football on first down, you come out play action pass to get a 2 yard gain. Then you throw the pass again. And when you've been Swift has been running the ball on them all game long, and here you go with throwing the ball 2 downs, and now you behind the 8 ball. You get a field goal, but this could be a turnover right here because you're gonna try to stress it, and you might turn the football over. I, what I almost said. What I almost said. I'm tell you, man, I've been doing this game a long time, man. I'm gonna tell you, you put yourself in that by trying to be too aggressive. Run the football on first down. You got second and third down to go. Let's try to get yards. But we try to go play action pass. They think we fooling somebody. And you end up, they gave you a free first down, and you end up with nothing out of it. So the penalty didn't hurt San Francisco. And you didn't let no time run off the clock because you threw the ball 2 times incomplete. So you stopped the clock. Bad down in possession down there. And I see the teams do this all the time. They get down in the goal line and they didn't want to start passing. All right. We going into it's crunch time, money time. San Francisco is in a good situation because they still I think they still can move the ball. I think they just hurt themselves when they got that penalty. So um that's a bad possession. Them not scoring there a touchdown is putting them in a situation where now San Francisco gonna have to lose the game for them. They could have got to the point where they would put pressure on San Francisco to tie, and then they could have went up. But right now, San Francisco, how they've been moving the ball, they can probably get in field position or score. But I think we this poor choice of how to attack down in the red zone down there, because we should have came out straight out try to run the ball. And I say you shouldn't neglect the run. And I say if you can, especially a team like San Francisco, once they get you inside that red zone, that area down there, they gonna squeeze you in there, because that's how they squeeze people. That's how they get to be, feel like they get you down there, they squeeze you. In this season, please don't do it without me. All right, Chicago, let's go, baby. Yeah, somebody say, "Well, coach, who you rooting for? Chicago?" Yeah, damn right, I root for Chicago. I want San Francisco to win nothing. If San Francisco are playing a team from another country, I still be rooting for uh, the other country, not a San Francisco 49er fan. I respect them of how they go about their business and their championships they won and how they go about their business. I'm not stupid enough to say I don't respect them and sometimes admire what they do as a football, because a football type way, but I don't want them to win. And they got no pass rush. They got no pass rush. They blitzing ain't getting no pass rush. So they blitzers ain't got no pass rush scheme. And well, their blitzes is not. They just running. Their blitzes are not trying to get angles or overload a certain side. They just running right into the guys. Watch when they blitz here. They just running right into the guys. They not. They already set up the pass protection is set up in so way they sliding so way they got it covered up. They not really doing nothing to get nobody free. They're not confusing them with the blitz to get somebody free. That's a bad play. Look at that guy. He had a chance to go at Purdy, and he's stopping, breaking down. Go at the guy. Watch this guy. He When he comes out, he works his way up the line of scrimmage. Watch the guy have a chance to go at him, and he just stay there. What you doing? You see, Purdy ain't throwing before 2 yard passes, and everything is in cutting. He don't throw the ball outside the numbers well because he ain't got the strongest arm. So everything is in cutting. Everything is in cutting routes. So your linebackers is very important against Purdy, because if they're dropping and taking those hook zones and those, it's very important that they do that. That's how they got an interception. The guy jumped the route, but it tipped in their linebackers caught and took it all away. Bad drop and a flag. What the flag was about? I guess they gonna call holding on the defense. Yep. Watch what I tell you. Hands to the face. Bad penalty again, man. Yep. You knew your hand was up there. You got to bring your hand down, man. Big play. First down is a big play. I think it was a block in the back over here they didn't call. Let's look at it again. That's a block in the back. I knew it was a block in the back. That's a block in the back. Watch the first block. I knew it was a block in the back. That's a block in the back, people. Another bad call. That's a block in the back. That play should have came back. Like I said, man, thank y'all so much for sharing this with me, man. And we're gonna be doing more of this. So I'm gonna be putting some time in with y'all out here as we watch. Hey, another big down. They stopped first down. See, let's see if that pays dividends on the second down. He ain't cutting route again. Touchdown. I told you those in cutting routes, man, was killing it. That's all he gonna throw is in cutting routes. He already know what the play he gonna throw it. He already know who he throwing the ball to. Watch when he goes back. He knew the distance of route he was throwing. He not reading. Watch his eyes on this. It's following 15 the whole time. Watch. He look at 15 over there. Watch the whole time. He know where he's coming. This is where, and he know that was that in cutting route. And that's the way he gonna throw the ball. And he already told that that's where you throw the football. And anytime he has to make a decision about going somewhere different, anytime he has to make a decision to go somewhere different, he doesn't do well. Well, Chicago, you asked for the ball back. That's what you wanted. You got the ball back. Can y'all make a move? Um, Thanks for the likes and the likes and the subscribe and the comments. Good football game. I mean, not the best one of the day that I've seen, but it's a good football game. It's coming down to the last. Don't do it without me. Coming down to the last. Don't do it without me. Oh, All right, let's see what Chicago got. Might get a run back. Well, that's good. Good. 2 minutes. I'm in timeout. 3 timeouts, 4 timeouts because you got a 2 minute more, 2 minute warnings. More than enough time. That the time is not issue here. It's about now about executing down the field, not turning the ball over. And in this particular when we're in this type of thing, getting the first down, and then you start to roll from there. Swift getting 5 yards of carry every play. I don't know why they didn't run the ball down the goal line. This game should have been just a tie game. Yep, that's right. Anytime when you're in situations like this, I recommend coordinators just try to get that first down. Once you get that first completion, the first down, things start to roll. And when you first get the ball, if you don't get a completion, the first down off the first couple of plays or three, then you start getting tight. Yeah. One thing about doing these lives is a lot of work because you're on here for 3 or 4 hours, man. So it's a lot of work, man. So I hope that y'all um, like the content we're trying to put out that I'm trying to do. Um, we're gonna start talking about some NIL. College basketball is getting really weird. They're signing pro players now. Guys that's on 10-day two-way contracts in the NBA are signing now to play in college. I just we're gonna ruin the sport we have with greed and talking about everybody's supposed to get paid, and we're gonna mess around and ruin a great sport that has done very well money wise, but student athletes have done very well too if they decide to be student athletes. So um, let's go. Let's see. Second and 6, I think. Ball is at um, 40-yard line. 60 yards to go to win. Let's see if they still got big plays in them. Because that's usually how they've been striking. And Johnson is a good coordinator to make big plays. He scheme up good plays, big plays. You got to make a decision, Kayla. You can't hold the ball back there and pat it. You gotta find the decision to make it. Well, that's defensive holding. That's another 5 yards, first down. The defensive penalties I have seen all day today has been horrible, man. Where he was throwing the ball to, that was covered anyway. You got to make it rip. You're going to have to let it rip, Kelly. You're going to have to throw a good pass in the seam or something, but you're going to have to let it rip. Let's see. Let it rip. Big play because you don't want to put the pressure on your fourth down. Get the first down, Kayla, and then you can start working. You can start working your plan again. You got plenty of time. Get the first down. What's the holdup? Get the first down, Kayla. If you use your feet, get the first down. Get out of bounds. Good. Now, every time he get a first down, that puts more pressure on San Francisco. Yeah, get a first down because the time is you got 3 timeouts. That's you got plenty of time. Right now it's about he gonna have to make a pass rip, and it's about the guys running hard patterns. But down the middle of the field might be number 84. I can see it coming. 84. I don't know why we running these sideline patterns. Kayla, you got the whole field you can work with. You got a minute 13 seconds with 3 timeouts. You can throw the ball anywhere in the field. You don't have to throw the ball going towards the sideline. Tell your quarterback that he got the whole field. We got more than enough time to get on the ball, stop the clock. Don't just start throwing the ball outside because you're like, oh, we got tack the middle of the field. The players in the middle of the field. He throwing the ball like he got like it's the last couple of seconds in the game. Calm down, Caleb. Get the first down. There you go. Don't worry about it. You got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Don't worry about it. Plenty of time. Let's go. Timeout. All right. But you got Ben Johnson. Callaway, what you got? You gotta let it rip. I still say the middle of the field down the seam is where your touchdown gonna come. The blitz is down the middle of the seam is where your touchdown gonna come. Hi, dog. Good play by them. They're blitzing you. They're saying that they're not gonna let you sit back there and rip it, Ben Johnson. So you know that they're blitzing you. You gotta Keller gotta know that. Big play. Drop pass. God almighty. Gotta catch that ball, son. I think Chicago done ran out of gas, people. I just got a feeling they're not gonna get this first down. I'd like to thank everybody that's in the live stream, man. That people have shared with me and came with this journey of watch part of a playoff of, of at the end of regular season. This is basically for a playoff season. I hope we learn some things from his. I hope we learn some things from the NFL today. That these teams are playing hard. They're not giving nothing easy. It's a very physical game, and I hope we can just emulate those things. But I wanted to make sure that we come out on next week and beat a giant team, because they done got a victory. So we're gonna try to come in and beat a giant team this week. I don't know. I said Wednesday. I'll probably come out and I'm going to talk about the coaching situation and see if we're going to go the cheat route. Some people put in there, but this is fourth down play here. I got a good feeling that they're not going to make it. Um, third down was their time to make it, and they dropped it. Well, they got it. First down. Now they might run out of time because they got but one timeout. Now everything got to be in the end zone. 84 has been their guy, I think. And that's who caught it again, I think, ain't it? Wasn't an end cutting route? Yep. Bad defense by the linebacker. He should have squeezed down. I don't know what he was floating for. He was floating back for what? What number two at on this game? In this game, ain't that their best wide receiver? Where is he at? Second and 10. Gotta let it rip. Uh-oh. Didn't get in there though. Gotta get up and make a play. Spike the ball. Hurry up. Spike the ball. One play left. And that play probably didn't work because somebody on the outside receiver didn't block. Let's look at that play again. Watch on out, and I don't. It's either 85 or somebody on that outside didn't block. 85 got no block. No block from 85. If he had blocked one guy, I think Swift would have got through and would have got a touchdown. Just one. You got to throw it. You got to throw it to somebody. Great game. Good, great competitive game. Came down to the last play of the game. Good game. Chicago has leave here and regroup. Good game for San Francisco. San Francisco got some problems defensively. Um, they don't look as a staunch team defensively, and I don't think that they're gonna they winning, but I think that it's gonna be some problems defensively that they're gonna have some problem. But again, that was a good game. Chicago is a learning team, so good game by them, and San Francisco moves on, um, trying to win their division. Seattle is still the lead in that division, and maybe San Francisco may win the division, but I think if the Seattle Seahawks win next week, I think they'll win the division. So and they could probably have home field, what name it, in Chicago, and the 49ers will be a wild card team. So nobody really wants to play the 49ers in the wild card game. Um, Now I don't think the 49ers want to play because I don't think they want to be on the road for 2 or 3 weeks. But again, very good game. Still like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all so much for watching the game, man. Uh, Again, we're gonna continue to do this. All the people that's in the chat, man, I appreciate you, man. Uh, for all the support, man. Again, if you want to keep this, and you like this, please send me a comment. Um, if you can, support the channel with some cash apps so we can continue to watch football and learn. But we still Cowboy fans. I'm gonna come on these shows anyway and still rep my Cowboys in the background because we're gonna get back on top. But until next time, thank you for coming in. Peace. Cowboys, still get your mind on your work on the last game of the season. And I always tell you, and I always leave this, and I always leave it at this. No one, nothing can stop God's will.